Deep in the dark, desolate depths of the ocean, where the sun doesn't shine and the pressure is crushing, there slinks a squishy, sausage-shaped sensation. This waddler of the abyss trundles through the muck with an extremely bizarre gait. With a body like a bag of jello and a locomotion style that's more inflatable parade float than anything else, the sea pig is the pinnacle of effortless grace. But when you live at the bottom of the ocean, it pays not to care what other people think about the way you walk, like the sea pig here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on. If you'd like to donate, just visit patreon.com/ldtaxonomy or click on donate on our website.
And today we're talking about an animal with a name that sounds like a AAA baseball team. But more on that later.
Is AAA a lot?
It's a lot of A's.
Is this what I don't know? It sounds to me like a lower league.
It is.
Oh, is it lower league?
Yeah.
Is single A the big leagues?
I don't know why it's called AAA and AA. But it is a lower league.
I just think of it. I thought it was the majors and the minors, right?
The AAA baseball is in the minors.
Oh, we're getting into categorization is well beyond the scope of my knowledge. I just know that there's major league and minor league. But yeah, I would assume this is more of a minor league thing. But what are we talking about, just so people have an idea?
We're talking about sea pigs.
They're the sea pigs. That definitely doesn't sound like a Major League Baseball name because it's interesting. It said they pick cardinals and orioles, like little defenseless fruity birds. Like, why would you pick that as your baseball team?
Because they're nice birds. You like
pick
nice
something
things.
cool.
It doesn't have to be dangerous.
Yes, it does. It has to be intimidating. It's got to be, hawks and eagles and...
It's a pastoral game.
And, lions and bears and elephants. How come nobody's the elephants? Elephants are cool. Rhinos. Why is nobody the rhinos?
It's chargers.
Are they rhinos?
I don't think so.
You could be a bison charger.
I think it's more like electricity.
Or a goat. Yeah, you're just electricity. It's a different kind of charging. Rhinos are cool. Haven't you seen people wearing Echo Unlimited t-shirts? That stuff's cool.
Yeah, everyone thinks that's cool.
Everyone does think that. That and multiple wolves superimposed on each other on a t-shirt with a moon in the background. Mm-hmm. That stuff's just awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, sea pig is also called is just called a sea cucumber because that's kind of what it is. But we're going to call it here the mucky mud mover and the tubular trotter.
Tubular.
Some alliteration there.
Do you want to know what science calls it?
Yeah.
Well, it's in the kingdom Eunolomena and the kingdom Animalia. The phylum is Echinodermata. Echinodermata.
Like a starfish.
Ah. The class is Holothuroidae. The order, Elacipodidae.
Elacipodida?
Yeah. The family is Elpidiidae. Elpidiidae, yep, that's what it is.
That's good, yeah.
The genus is Scotoplanes. Scotoplanes? Scotoplanes?
Scotoplanes definitely sounds like something from like the Italian Air Force in World War II.
Yes, and Scotoplanes sounds like a philosopher.
Yes. An Italian philosopher.
Yeah.
No, a Greek philosopher.
The species is globosa. Scotoplanes globosa.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my and the listener's favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that is, what is the translation for the binomial nomenclature? In this case, we are talking about Scotoplanes globosa, or Scotoplanes globosa for the gringo. Does Scotoplanes globosa mean A, dark wanderer globe, B, salty stretching sphere, C, shadowy ocean world, or D, cut flat ball? Dark
Cut
wanderer
flat
globe.
Ball. Don't you come. I'm going to go with cut flat ball. Final answer.
Oh, who is it? Who sings that song? Why can't I not think of that? Why I'm just thinking of Supermassive Black Hole from the Muse. Is that Black Sabbath?
No.
Black Hole Sun. Who sings Black Hole Sun? Somebody write it and tell us. Because I'm not going to type it. My keyboard's really loud.
Soundgarden.
Soundgarden. Oh, wow. I haven't thought about them in a long time. Huh. I think that's... okay, never mind. I was trying to think of the guitars for that, but... All right. Cut flat ball. Black Hole Sun. Is that your answer?
Yeah. That's my answer.
All right. That is incorrect. The answer is dark wanderer globe. Scoto means dark.
When don't you think it would be like dark globe wanderer?
A globe of the dark wanderer, or dark wandering globe, maybe. But wanderers, the problem is there's often like two nouns in these phrases, so it's hard to tell like which one to focus on.
It's either dark wandering dark globe wanderer or wandering dark globe. That's the wandering dark globe, like a rogue planet, not orbiting around a sun, completely dark out in the void.
It does. It's faithful to the original meaning, because the point is still a wanderer. It's just the globe is the wanderer, so it's a wandering globe. But we're getting into some morphology.
Does that? It freaks me out
took a
thinking
college
about
class
that.
on
Thinking about that
we're just floating in
the
space.
No, that there are planets potentially out there that have been flung out of a solar system or out of even a galaxy, and are just like in a vast expanse. Obviously, there's nothing there to experience that. Without a
that
sun.
Freaks you out, but thalassophobia doesn't.
No,
that's the whole thing. Is floating around in an endless expanse.
But it's not endless.
The difference is there are malevolent eldritch creatures in the ocean, and none of them in space.
There's none of them in the ocean though either.
No, there's nothing in space, and there's monsters in the ocean.
We know about the monsters. I've seen the monsters, which makes them not scary.
Bears
Not that
are
I
still
would
scary.
want to be very close
I've seen
to a
bears and
shark.
they're still scary.
Yeah.
And I've seen squid and they're still scary. All right. Yep. Dark Wanderer globe.
That's a stupid name.
You prefer Sclotopenes globosa?
Yeah. I prefer
that's
whatever the dark hole sun you just said. What was the other one?
Sclotopenes globosa is my favorite senator from Star Wars.
Cool. Do you want to know what it looks like?
I would. I mean, I know, but I would like to hear you describe it to me.
It's a stupid looking alien. It looks like an alien.
No, space is empty, remember? No eldritch beings there.
No, I said
nothing to fear.
I didn't say that. I that's true, I think, but yeah, no, it's it looks like the tiny little critter that skitters around and is of no consequence in a video game. They have soft, round, translucent white bodies, or pinkish. I wonder if these photos are doctored, but everything I see is like a pinkish white. With 5 to 7 pairs of tube-like feet used for locomotion, and possibly shaking hands. These tube feet powered. No, I'm not saying that, right? These.
No.
There is not now. When I say tube feet, they've got tubes coming off of them in every direction. It's a disgrace. They've got like they've got a face kind of like a star-nosed mole, where its tentacles coming off the front. They've got 4 tentacles, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, coming off the top. Then they've got like 8 to 10 around the bottom. But there's no segments, and we'll figure that. It's just all a balloon with tubes coming off.
I have several of these. I've several toys in my house that look like this. They're just like these. The kids just love to pull on all of the tube things that are coming off. They call them monsters because they have little eyes on them. But once I saw a picture of this, I was like, "Oh, we have a neon green, blue, and red one downstairs right now."
Disgusting.
It's just a like a plushy pill covered in hair.
They have bilateral symmetry, despite the fact that at first glance they look like chaos incarnate. They have a thin body wall that sometimes reveals internal organs. The upper tube feet may serve as sensory functions. So the tentacles coming off the top, maybe they can feel vibrations or something.
Good vibrations.
Yeah. Do you want to know how big it is?
Yes. I would like to know that.
Welcome to the Love Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show, the part of the show that's introduced by you when you send an audio yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, but that means we get to hear from an animal, and Carlos has to guess what it is, or we normally would. But since Carlos can't hear it, I'm just going to describe one. There is no sea pig that I know of or I could find in pop culture.
There isn't even a pig that sails the high seas?
I mean, you can see them in video games, Endless Ocean series of video games. You could find them. Sea pigs are in like basically things. You find them when they're specifically talking about sea pigs. You're not finding like a character named Reginald and he's a sea pig.
We have a book where a bunch of animals are pirates looking for all of the letters of the alphabet, and I think the bosun is a pig. So he is a pig that sails the high seas. And you could go with him. He doesn't say much.
But instead of that, I wonder if you know this character. He's not a sea pig, but he is a pig. Do you know of a novel where a pig, the whole thing is about this pig that really wants to learn how to swim?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to find it. When I was a kid, I read a book called When Pigs Fly. And it was all about this pig learning to swim. And I was, as a child, I was like, this was wrong. I wanted to learn about a pig flying. I wanted to be like Babe, but then he ends up flying. But he's just swimming.
Like Dumbo, but for pigs.
Yeah. But I just typed it in. I've been trying to find it. And there are about 6,000 books called When Pigs Fly.
Yeah, it turns out that's a pretty common phrase. For some reason.
No. It could be this one. If pigs had wings, maybe? The story follows a pig's daydream of soaring through the sky, visiting exotic places and performing daring feats while embracing the joy of imagination. This isn't it. I have no idea. I have to find this. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Let's just go with Porco Rosso, because that's a story about a pig literally
That's
flying
true.
a
He
plane.
does fly. Yeah.
And he flies over a lot of water. There's a lot of water in that movie.
And why is he so cool?
It's because he has a mustache.
But who's he voiced by? He's voiced by Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He's too cool for a pig. I think he smokes cigarettes.
He's self-aware. He says that whenever anybody is like, hey, you want to go do this? He's like, nah, I'm a pig. And I think that self-awareness is what makes him cool.
It's true.
When you're confident in yourself and you know your flaws and limitations, like, for example, if you were a pig, that's what the cool kids do these days.
Well,
they don't vape. They're confident.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about their length. How many sea pigs laid end to end, which have a length of about 15 centimeters at their largest, or 5.91 inches?
6 inches, okay.
How many sea pigs laid end to end go into these things, and which one of these is correct? A, 4 go into the length of a lionfish. B, 0.5 go into the length of a sextant. Or C, 0.8 go into the length of a deep sea anglerfish. You know what a sextant is?
0.8?
Yes.
Deep sea, okay. I don't think it's an anglerfish unless you're talking about just the males. Sextant's length, like when you pull it all the way out?
It's a navigational tool used by sailors. I don't know.
Presumably, it goes all the way to 180 degrees. So,
no, but
that might be 6 inches.
No, I mean it doesn't go to I think you're thinking of. Are you thinking of the thing that you would walk across the map with? If you look up a sextant, it's like
it's got cogs on it, right?
Kind of, yeah. You would go across on the arch, but you wouldn't it doesn't fold out. As I can see.
I'm going to go with that one. Because you said 0.5, that makes it 3 inches. So that seems about right.
Sextant?
Yep.
The correct answer is The deep sea anglerfish.
What? Which
Zero
anglerfish?
point
There's a lot of
eight.
different kinds.
Malinocetus johnsoni. The humpback anglerfish.
Is it the one we did?
I don't
We did the
remember.
black anglerfish, I think.
Yeah.
But the females were like 3 feet long.
It's about 4.7 inches for a large female.
Wow.
I should have said which one. You would have definitely got it if you knew it was the humpback anglerfish.
No, I don't think so. Like, for me, I just remember, like, as a kid thinking anglerfish were just enormous, like 8 feet long, these monsters of the deep, and then finding out they were like 3 feet long. Oh, they were like the size of a trout or a carp or something, like a big carp or something. But that's still relatively big, but not 5 inches. That's tiny. That's pathetic.
Well, let's talk about their weight. No one, it's hard to say because first of all, if it's small enough and it's in the ocean, they don't weigh it. Unless it's a fish and there's like records.
It's mostly water weight anyway.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I asked ChatGPT to estimate, and they estimated with full of water, which this thing is a bag of water. Full of water, it's about 100 grams at most, 0.1 kilograms. So how many?
So what is that? 0.05 pounds?
Don't know. How many? How many of these things go into these things? Which one of these is correct? 10 go into the weight of a nautical brass compass. B, 0.9 go into the weight of a green sea turtle hatchling. C, 3 go into the weight of a jellyfish.
What
Specifically,
jellyfish?
The moon jellyfish.
Okay.
Aurelie arita.
Are those the ones we get to kayak over at John Pennycamp State Park?
Yeah, I think so.
Those are not very big.
Or are they the really famous ones? Moon jellies. I don't think they're maybe. Pretty much quintessential jellyfish.
The sea turtle. Baby sea turtle. Final answer.
The correct answer is 10 go into the weight of a typical brass ship's compass.
I thought that maybe you were going to go with the nautical equipment the second time. You did it the first time.
Oh, I got the correct answer for all three and then just chose at random which one would be the wrong one. So there was no rhyme or reason.
No. Oh, interesting.
Do you want to know any fast facts before you get into the major fact?
I would.
Well, they're found at a depth of about 500 to 9,000 meters from the abyssal plains to the hadal zones, even down into the Kermadec Trench and the Philippine Trench. They're cosmopolitan in geographic range, as is many of the things that live in the ocean. They're present in the Arctic, Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Southern Oceans, including off San Diego, Chile, Cape Cod, or the Cape of Good Hope, not Cape Cod, the Antarctica, and in colder waters, they stay shallower. Often, they're beholden to ocean currents to detect nutrient-rich feeding sites, and it helps them find fresh food. Fresh food. What kind of fresh food is detritus?
Is in the halal zone.
Uh,
This whale detritus has been blessed.
Speaking of what they eat marine snow, which is organic detritus, which is bad, nasty stuff that floats down. It's dead stuff. It's stuff that got eaten already. You know, they prefer fresh, nutrient-rich sediments, less than 100 days old. I like my corpse bits less than 100 days old.
That's what that's Jimmy Dean's philosophy.
Believe it or not, they're not a sponsor. They
will be after they hear this.
Yeah. They use mucus. I'm going to leave that to you just in case. They're congregational, and I don't mean that they vote on things as with one vote, but as part of a whole body, as opposed to other forms of government. It means they form groups called trolls, ranging from 10 to 30. I'm
glad I didn't go with the collective noun. You already knew it.
They're trawling the deep. The
trolling in the deep.
10 to 30, or as many as 600 sometimes. Typically facing into currents to optimize feeding. About 22% of sea pigs are accompanied by neolithodes, a crab, a particular crab.
New rock crabs.
Diomedia. A lithoidea. Lithodid crab. A rock crab. The relationship may be mutualistic or commensal, with crabs potentially gaining nutrients and mobility while protecting sea pigs from parasites. What kind of a parasite likes to eat water balloons?
If a water balloon is a sea cucumber is your method of transportation, you need to pick something else. You've picked a Roomba. And you're not going to go where you want to go.
It's like when a cat sits on a Roomba. It's just, you could go way faster, but I guess you don't want to.
Not all who wander are lost, Joe.
That's very true. They do get parasites. They host deep sea parasites like gastropods. The gastropods Stylapex, or another word, and crustaceans, sometimes parasitic crustaceans, which bore into their body wall and just hang out in the body soup on the inside of this water balloon.
We've already dealt with a fish that goes inside sea cucumbers for protection.
Mm-hmm. Now it's tiny crabs. Or gastropods. They are oviparous with external spawning and fertilization. Some exhibit brooding. Embryos develop into planktotrophic larvae, which means they're tiny and they like free float in the ocean. Like plankton. They become plankton. Their embryos are plankton before metamorphosing into juvenile sea cucumbers. And they play a role in deep sea ecosystems by consuming organic matter, like a lot of stuff. They like to clean up the ocean debris. With their feeding influenced by surface ocean events like El Nino, which increase food availability. Population booms have been noted after El Nino events, especially in 1997 through 1999.
extra whale detritus, extra marine snow.
It's true. Deep sea trawling poses a threat to the trawls in the deep sea. And a single sweep can kill up to 300 individuals. Throw those water balloons back. But that's all I got. Do you have any big facts?
I do. So these are sea cucumbers that move very differently to other sea cucumbers. They have, as you mentioned, these specialized tube feet. They are elongated, they are leg-like, and they are powered by a water vascular system. So they inflate and deflate like little hydraulic stilts. These tube feet, which are 5 to 7 pairs strong all along their body, they allowed their sea pigs to walk across the ocean floor. It's a sea cucumber that can walk. Just the worst nightmare, right? A unique trait among sea cucumbers, because most of them kind of slink along or turn themselves inside out to move, or move very little at all. These guys walk. They use these tubes feet to walk using muscle contractions and water pressure, where they push fluid in and out to create a wobbly, deliberate stride through the mud. This helps them navigate soft, unstable sediment of the ocean floor and the abyssal plain in particular, which makes sense. They are dark wanderers because they wander around in the dark. And while some sea cucumbers do have tube feet, they're small and they're tucked underneath. The sea pig's tube feet are oversized and dorsal. They're all over the place and they're sticking out. And they also double as potential sensory tools to be able to find good places to eat, stay close to each other, and all that stuff. They have a little bit of buoyancy to them, which aid them in preventing them from getting bogged down or sinking into the sediment. And so they can kind of hover slightly above the sediment, like little pudgy hovercrafts, and sort of like touch down with a tube foot and push themselves along. And like you said, they face into ocean currents in order to get the best pickings from the whale detritus dollar menu. And they will use these tube feet to stabilize themselves so they can eat without being swept away. And they can also efficiently scour the sea floor for organic matter, like a vacuum cleaner for whale carcasses. And they actually, so this helps them, but it also functions for the ecosystem down there in the abyssal plain, because they aerate the sediment as they trudge along, which boosts the oxygen levels and makes the sea floor more hospitable for other creatures. They're just accidental good Samaritans rifling up the sea floor as they should.
Without a single thought.
Without a head empty, no thoughts. They are just water balloons. But look up a video of these guys just kind of putzing around. It is unnerving, but also great.
It is. I'm filled with dread looking at it. Imagine being this creature. It would stink.
You would imagine nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing would stink.
If this creature had any awareness, it would be crying out in the wilderness.
It would realize it's at the bottom of the ocean.
In the dark. Yeah.
It would actually be like, thank heavens that I am not one of those tube worms that's stuck to a volcano until it dies. Thank goodness I'm a cucumber that with feet that could go away.
I guess if you have to be a sea cucumber, it's better to have feet that you can go away.
Although crabs are going to still try and live inside you.
But they're also going to ride your back and prevent other crabs from living inside you.
Yeah, so you hope you want to get one that rides on your back and does not crawl inside you.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a good one, a good tenant, you keep them for life, right?
I mean, you might as well be a bus at that point.
Taxi. Oh, an Uber. You're the deep sea Uber.
Yeah, you're either Atreus and the dragon thing, or you got something on your back, or you're a bus and you got something inside.
Yeah, and you're also there. You're a little bit of Uber Eats as well. Some delivery dudes, because you're going by and picking up food, bringing it other places.
True.
They should get an Uber where you're just the only thing you do is you're taken to restaurants. They come and pick you up and take you to a restaurant. And that's what this would be.
Well,
but that's it. That's the sea pig, not a pig, even a little bit. It's as much of a pig as tardigrades are bears or water bears, which is to say not a lot or at all. I don't even really see the I don't see the pig. I don't see the pig in the sea pigs.
I do. Not really, but kind of. Like some of them, it looks like it's got like a pig. It's the pig head shape with big pink floppy ears. If you like squint and imagine that.
Yeah, except it doesn't have floppy ears and it doesn't have
It's the
snout.
front tentacles. Like, yeah, it's like if you had like just the worst prescription and your glasses fell off. You just see a pink shape. Yeah,
if you had the worst prescription and your glasses fell off and a 3-year-old was showing you a picture of a pig they drew with stink lines coming off of it, then maybe you would come to the same conclusion. But other than that, I don't see the pig in the sea pig. I do not see pig. All right. That was the sea pig for you out there in Podcastia. Noodle around on the ocean floor. Be sure to aerate your sediment. And tentatively tiptoe on tubular tootsies like the sea pig here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we have a Patreon that you can find by going to ldtaxonomy.com/donate. All of our episodes are uploaded there. Sign up for free to engage with us, leave episode suggestions, or chat with other animal enthusiasts. If you find it in your heart to donate, it will help us cover some costs and continue to make the show. Plus, we'll thank you every week. Most importantly, thank you all for listening.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
This thing is just... Oh, there's a picture on the internet of the pink crab trying to get on the pink sea pig.